सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, we have completed up to 9th sloka, and also we have analyzed the advantage of Karma Yoga and the importance of Karma Yoga. Now, with this context, we will enter into the text proper. Sloka number 10. Nadveshtya kusalam karma kusalena nushajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samsayaha. Saha tyagi sattva samavishtaha medhavi chinna samsayaha cha bhavati. Saha akusalam karma nadveshti kusale na anushajvate. Yaha, whoever, akusalam karma, whatever is ordained unto him, nadveshti, if he is not hating that work which is ordained unto him. Kusale na anushajvate, on the works that are dear to him, he is not having too much of attachment. He is not having any attachment. Saha, that person, sattva samavishtaha, he is having suddha sattvam. He is sattva guna pradhana person. Chinna samsayaha, he is having doubtless knowledge. Medhavi, he is the person who is exposed to the knowledge. Tyagi, he is the real person who renounced the karma phalas. So, whoever takes up the ordained work without any hatred, and whoever is not attached to the work he is interested in, without attachment to the work he is very much fascinated. Whoever does the work with his balanced mind is called Suddha Sattva Guna Sampanna, and he is having doubtless knowledge, and he is the real person who understood the knowledge, and he is called the renouncer of karma phala. So, slokas 10 to 12 talks about the karma yoga. Karma yogam is being praised. Karma yogam is being glorified by Paramatma. So, only thing is he is not using the word karma yogam. He is using a different word, what we call Sattvika Sanyasam. So, in this particular chapter, in the slokas 10 to 12, Paramatma is giving Sattvika Sanyasa Mahima or Karma Yoga Mahima in our earlier knowledge. Sattvika Mahima is nothing but Karma Yoga Mahima. Karma Yogi cannot renounce the karmas. Karma Yogi has to perform the karmas. So, as a human being, every person is entitled, every person is bound to do certain works. So, first thing is we have to safeguard ourselves, and then we have to take care of the family duties, and then we have to take up the work towards the employment. Wherever we are employed, we have to fulfill the work there. And towards the society, we have got certain role and certain duties, and we have to fulfill that. We have to do our service to the society at large. All these things are inbound duties of a karma yogi. So, how a karma yogi performs all this, we are going to know in these slokas. Akusalam karma nadveshti. So, whatever is the work, whatever is the karma, is supposed to do, he takes it up with joy. There is no hatred. Whether he likes that work or not, he will not brood. He will not make any complaint. So he will not curse himself and curse others while doing a particular thing which is not of his choice, which is not of his liking. So he will not make a fuss of the work. He does this with full dedication and take up that work with a mind which is fully dedicated into that work. So if he does that, then he is not subject to any kind of anxiety, and his health is not affected. Many people you see in the society, they take up a job for want of good salary, because the salary is luring. They join, and once they join, they do not like the job. This is not my cup of tea. They think that way, and they cannot put his soul and heart in it. They do it just like that, because they have to do it. There is no full heart and soul in the work they are doing. So that is the usual practice of majority of the people. But a karma yogi is not like that. Karma yogi dedicates his work unto Ishvara. Because he is dedicating the work unto Ishvara, he is totally committed and he is involved in this, and he does it with full interest and full concentration, and without any anxiety he takes up the work. Though it is not of his choice, he will not think this is not my cup of tea. So this is the affair. Kusalena anushajvate. In the same case, suppose he likes a particular thing, a particular work he likes, that is of his taste. Then he is not too much, attached with it. He is not totally carried away by that. This is how a person does. He always maintains balance. He will not divide the work into two categories. I like this, I don't like this. So that type of division he will not do it. Whatever comes to his domain, he takes it up and dedicates it unto Ishvara, and he will take it up with full shraddha and full commitment and perform it as Ishvara's work. And he does it with full interest, and since he is showing interest, there is no anxiety for him. He will not brood over any work. Then the next word is tyagi. Tyagi means he is a sattvic tyagi. So earlier we have seen an equation, sattvika sannyasam is equal to karma yogam. Karma yogi is also a renouncer. What is that he is going to renounce? He is going to renounce the worry over the future. If you take up some work, naturally you are going to get the result. So the worry about the result will be there in any person. Whenever you perform a work, you are worried about the positive result. But this person is not worried because he is doing the work, dedicating it unto the God. So his duty is only in performing the work to the best of his abilities. His duty is only to perform that work to the best of his ability. And karma phala is not in his hands. He knows it perfectly well, because the karma phala is given by Ishvara. Ishvara gives the karma phala basing on my previous karmas in the previous janmas or the present karmas in this janma. Basing on that, I will get back my karma phala. So karma phala may not be in my favor, or it may be in my favor. It is not known to me. So whatever comes to me, I will take it as Ishvara prasadam. It has come from Ishvara, so I won't brood it. I will take it up without any judgment. So without having sangam to the karma phalam, so he does the work. So he is renouncing the karma phala abhimana. So he doesn't have any kind of attachment towards the karma phala. So this is what we have to understand. So with this refined mind, he does the work. When he is doing this work with this kind of refined mind, we can see that he is not having any kind of anxiety towards the karma phala. Usually, for an ordinary person, whenever he does the work, the anxiety starts. Will I get it positively or not? Will I get it positively or not? Like this, his mind wavers. But this person will not waver because he dedicated the work unto God. Now it is in his court. He is going to give back the karma phala. Whatever the karma phala that I get, it is from Ishvara. So I won't brood it. I will take it up as with prasada buddhi. This is the mindset a karma yogi is having. So this is what we call tyagam. So karma phala abhimana tyagam is there. So he is not attached. He is not having too much of expectation towards the karma phala. Then sattva samavishtaha. So if he is having rajasic mind, then he will have attachment towards the karmas. So if he is tamasic mind, if he is tamasic oriented or tamasic dominated person, then he tries to avoid the karma. So in both these rajasic and tamasic people, they do not have any balance in their mind. They will not look at the work with a balanced mind. So they don't develop the sattvic antakarana, sattvaguna mind they will not develop. Whereas if you do the work with karma yogam, that is sattva samavishtaha, with karma yoga lifestyle, then he will get the chitta suddhi and chitta vaisalyata, and thereby he is entitled to jnana yogam. He is having jnana yogyata prapti because his mind is refined. Then at that stage he can slowly reduce his work and then enter into the jnana yogam. Then you may question how one knows whether his mind is refined or not. So there are two indicators to tell you that your mind is refined. The first indicator is you will develop interest towards Vedanta. Until then, you think, what is the point going to Vedanta? There is no point learning, Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya. We can as well, continue these karmas or continue with this lifestyle. I need not know Vedanta. This is the mind, a person, if he is not refined, if he is refined, then slowly he will show interest towards the Vedanta. So this is first indicator. You know the value of Vedantam. And second indicator is, once you enter Vedantam, once you enter studying Atma Vidya or studying Brahma Vidya, usually it becomes Greek and Latin. It is just impossible to understand Vedantam in the beginning. So people run away after few classes. But this person will stay for good because his mind is refined, because his mind is having that readiness and refinement. He stays for long and absorbs Vedanta in depth. So people usually say, when you take up some work, you can take it up very easily. That's what they want to say. So in order to say this, they say, is it a Brahma Vidya? It's not like a Brahma Vidya. You can take it up very easily. So usually the understanding is Brahma Vidya is tough. Brahma Vidya is a tough job. So that is the usual, proverb or usual way of putting Brahma Vidya as a tough job. But Brahma Vidya is a very tough thing for whom? For a person who is not prepared. For a person who is not having refined mind, Brahma Vidya is definitely a tough job and he will not stay for good. For a person who is having a refined mind, who can understand Vedanta, for him it is a cakewalk. So that's why this person, he will stay for good, and he tries to understand the Atma Vidya in depth, and because he is having that Chitta Suddhi and Chitta Vaisalyata, that means Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is having. So this is what Paramatma said, Yoga Rudaha in 6th chapter. So both these tests, that is, he is knowing Vedantas, the value, he understands the value of Vedanta. Then second thing is he understands the very subject itself. He can go deep into Vedanta. These are the two indicators which will tell a person that he achieved Chitta Suddhi. Medhavi. Medhavi means if he is having Chitta Suddhi, then slowly he will reduce karmas, and then the balance time, because he reduced karmas, then lot of time is left. So that balance time he utilizes for Sravanam and Mananam. So Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, for these three things he can categorize or he can allocate his balance time. And for this he need not take the external sannyasam. Vivekam and Vairagyam, these are the two things. That is, he should know the discrimination and dispassion. If he is having these two things, then he is called Medhavi. This is the word used here. Medhavi. Medhavi means he can discriminate what is Atma, what is Anatma. Then he can go deep into Vedanta. So for learning Vedanta, he should have that Sushma Buddhi. Aham Brahmasmi. This very knowledge, he gets it by Sravanam. For a long period of time, he is exposed to Guru Bodha. So that is what we call Sravanam. So in the very Sravanam, he gets the knowledge of Atma. So he understands what is Atma because he is having that Sushma Buddhi. This is what we call Medhavi. This word Medhavi indicates the Sravanam. Sravanam part of Vedanta. Then Chinna Samsayaha. So if he is having this knowledge, if he has imbibed this knowledge, Aham Brahma Asmi, that is not enough. There will be umpteen doubts that props around, that wavers his mind. How can it be true? Because whatever Vedanta proposes is diagonally opposite to real-time experience, real-life experience. So mind will not accept the proposal of Vedanta. The Vedanta seems to be just an imaginary topic. But once you understand, once you try to realize, once you try to analyze, then slowly you get rid of, slowly you can solve all your doubts and you become a person without any doubts, without having any doubts. A doubtless knowledge you will acquire over a period of time, over a long period of time. If you are exposed to Sravanam for a continuously long period of time, and also if you perform Mananam, that means if you resolve your doubts with your peer group and also with your guru, then you will acquire the doubtless knowledge. This stage is here represented by Chinna Samsayaha. So Chinna Samsaya represents Mananam. Medhavi represents Sravanam. By Karma Yoga, one gets Jnana Yogyata. That means he is having qualification to learn Atma Jnanam. So once he gets qualified, then he can catch hold of a Srotriya Brahmanishta Guru and expose himself to Sravanam, Mananam and learn the knowledge, acquire the doubtless knowledge. The two words Madhavi represents Sravanam part, Chinna Samsaya represents the Mananam part. If Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga will ultimately lead that person to Moksha. So this is the ultimate journey of a sadhaka. With this we will proceed to sloka number 11. Nahi dehabruta sekyam tyaktum karmanyaseshataha yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi ityabhidiyate. He, therefore, karmani aseshataha, by all karmas without any balance, tyaktum, to renounce, deha brutana sekyam. For a human being it is not possible. That means it is impossible to renounce all karmas completely. Very difficult to renounce karmas completely. This is the meaning. Then tasmat, therefore, yaha, whatever is the person, karma phala tyagi, whoever is renouncing the karma phala abhimana, sahatu, that person only, tyagi iti means he is the real renouncer. Abhidiyate means he is called the tyagi. Who renounces the karma phala abhimanam, that person is called karma phala tyagi, or he is simply called tyagi. Tyagi means sannyasi. See here, Arjuna posed a question, what is the difference between Tyagam and Sannyasam? So, Paramatma did not differentiate the difference between Sannyasam and Tyagam. He is treating them both the same. And he also gave the title, that is Karma Yogam, as the Sattvika Sannyasam. That means you cannot run away from the war field. You have to take up the war and take it up with a style of Karma Yoga. So, Deha Bruta Aseshataha Karmani Tyaktum Na Sikyam. Yahatu hi Karma Phala Tyagi Saha Tyagi iti Abhidhiyate. Therefore, it is not possible to give up the total karmas for any human being. Whoever renounces the karma phala abhimana, he is called the tyagi. Karma phala, karma yoga. So earlier we said karma yogi cannot renounce the karmas. Now Paramatma is giving further a bold statement. Karma yogi cannot renounce the karmas because as long as you are alive and kicking, then we have to do some karma or other. Even for the sake of our health, we have to take up certain karmas like taking bath and brushing our teeth, like that. We have to do some karma or other. We cannot totally give up the karmas. So Bhagavan is cautioning, karmanya seshataha tyaktum na sekyam. So totally you cannot give up the work. It is impossible. That's what Paramatma is telling. So at the most we can change our karmas. So you can reduce the karmas, but you cannot totally renounce the karmas. It is impossible. So we have to do a certain karmas because without doing these karmas we cannot live. Chinmayanandaji, he puts it in a very beautiful way. Every moment of our life is dependent on some element or other. We are indebted to so many things. So if you are taking up some work, then you need the help of others. So Pancha Mahayajnas, nothing but Pancha Maharunas. So you have got 5 different kinds of debts. One is called Daivarunam, Rishirinam, Pitrurinam, Manishirinam, and Bhotarinam. So we are indebted to all the five things. For God we are indebted, for rishis we are indebted, and for human beings who are living along with us we are indebted. Because of their help only we are able to go forward. And Bhutarunam, because of the other living beings we are indebted. Supposing we are able to learn Bhagavad Gita, we are indebted to the God Krishna Paramatma and the Rishi Veda Vyasa and to the Swamiji, Guru Swamiji, and we were blessed with this body. We are indebted to our Pitru Devatas. The Gita originator, because of Arjuna, we could get this Gita, so we are indebted to Arjuna. Gita is given to us in the form of books. Therefore, we are indebted to all trees. Because of the trees only we could get this book. Like that, if you analyze, this list will go a long way. So for such simple thing, we can see that we are indebted to so many things. So we have to perform all Pancha Mahayajnas in order to see that our runam is cleared. Karma Phala Tyagi. If you have to do some work, naturally you are having that anxiety. What will be the Karma Phala? So for that Karma Phala Tyagi Bhava, that is what Paramatma is saying in this particular sloka. So whatever is ordained on you, you perform the duty and without having any attachment to the Karma Phala. So you don't have that Karma Phala Abhimana. That means the anxiety towards the Karma Phala, you leave it. It is very difficult. It's very easy to say that you give up the Karma Phala anxiety. You give up the anxiety towards the result of the work. Easy, it is said, but very difficult to implement. So for this, he has given the solution also. That is, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogatshemam Vahamyaham. So without having any anxiety, you leave the result unto me. So when you are totally surrendered, you will be having that mindset to accept whatever comes to you. You can take it up as Ishvara Prasada. Bhagavan, the God will always take up, the God will ultimately will protect you. With that mindset, he is going to take care of my yogam and kshemam. So I don't worry about these intermediary steps. Bhagavan is having a grand plan, so let him go according to his plan. I don't worry about these small things. So with this kind of mindset, whatever the karma phala he gets, he takes it up as an Ishvara Prasadam. The mundane success he may not achieve. He may be a failure in the life. But if he performs karma yogam, then there will be an internal growth, the spiritual growth. So even in a very tough and difficult situations, he can maneuver the things without any anxiety. He will not have anxiety towards the result, towards the karma phala. This is because he is having that Ishvara Prasada Buddhi. Saha Tyagi. So if he is having that Sattvic mind, Sattvic Antakarana, so he is called Sattvika Tyagi. A Sattvika Tyagi is nothing but a Karma Yogi in our old terminology. Now he changed the terminology. Now Paramatma is calling Karma Yogi as Sattvika Tyagi. Then the 12th sloka. Anishtam ishtam misrancha trividam karbada phalam bhavatya tyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam kvachit atyaginam. So for those who will not renounce the karma phala tyagam, who will not renounce the karma phala, then karmanaha, for karmas, they will get ishtam, the good result, anishtam, the bad result, and misramam, and the combination of both. Trividam phalam, they are entitled to all three kinds of phalas. Pretya means after the death, they have to, bhavati, they have to undergo these three kinds of karma phala. To sanyasinam, but for the person who is having this karma phala tyagam, they do not undergo all these things. Kvachit, at any time, na bhavati, they are not having this ishtam, anishtam and mishram. They are not having these three karma phalas. This is the meaning here. We'll see the Anvayam. Anishtam, ishtam, mishramancha iti trividam karmanaha phalam. Pretya atyaginam bhavati. Samyasinam tu kvachit na bhavati. So, for those who will not renounce the karma phala, that means for those people who are not sattvic sannyasis, they are bound to get three kinds of karma phala. One is a good karma phala, a bad karma phala, and the mixture of both. So, this is what happens after their death. So, they are subject to the cycle of birth and death. Whereas the person who renounces the karma phala, he is not entitled to any of this result because he is not attached to the karma phala. The karma phala is Ishvara's choice. I don't brood over the karma phala. With this mindset, he is doing the karma. So here, in this particular sloka, Paramatma is explaining what is the disadvantage, what is the loss a person who is not following karma yogam. If you are not a karma yogi, what is the loss you are going to undergo? A person who is not a karma yogi is called karmata. Karma yogam is nothing but Ishvara arpana buddhi plus Ishvara prasada buddhi. This is what we know already. So, a karma yogi will not have any anxiety towards the future. He will not worry what happens in the future. Therefore, if he is not a karma yogi, then he will always worry about the future. Then he will not value the value. When he is not value the value, then naturally he will resort to all adharmic works because he is more concentrating on the karma phala. He is so much finical, he is so much fanatic about the karma phala. So, in order to achieve the karma phala, he will resort to all illegal and adharmic practices. Therefore, he is entitled to three different types of karma phala. One is called anishtam. Anishtam means a papa phalam. Because he resorted to adharmic practices, then he is going to get papam. He will also justify himself in Kali Yuga. This is what you have to follow. He will have his own logic for his bad things, for his bad practices. So, such person is entitled to papam, anishtam. Ishtam means a punya phalam. If he is doing some charity or if he is sticking to dharma, then he is entitled to punyam. Then mishramamcha. So he takes up good things and also bad things. There are some people I have seen, they will say, I will do both. I will do the charity, I will do bad things also. That means I will take up adharmic works. He will donate, to temples. He will donate to all chowdhuries or all good things he will do. But on the other side, there is another second character for him which makes him do adharmic works and he mops up money. And because of that papa bhiti, he does this charity also. So such person is entitled to mishram. Mishram means he get both papam and punyam. What will be the future of this person? This is what we call samsara. He is subject to that birth-death cycle. He keeps on, going on and on and on. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So we have seen this in the 14th chapter. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha, madhye tishtanti rajasaha, janghanya guna vrittistaha, adho gachanti tamasaha. This is what we have learnt. A person who is having sattva gunam, and if he does all good things, then he is entitled to higher realms of heaven. If he is a rajasic mind and doing a mixture of both, then he stays in this very Madhya Lokam. If he is a tamasic person who is doing all illegal things and para-apakara karmas, then he is thrown into the lokas of punishments. The Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Talatala, Patala. All these lokas is thrown into. So, Trividam Karmanaha Phalam. Like that, these three kinds of karma phalas, that is samsaram, will be there for this person eternally. Attyaginam bhavati. Attyaginam bhavati means, tyagi means karma yogi. Attyagi means a person who is not following karma yogam. A person who is not a sattvika sannyasi. That means a karmatha. So for him, all the three phalas will be there. Therefore, he is subject to the rebirth. Pretya. Pretya means after death, he is again born. So while he is alive, he has to undergo all the three phalams, sukham, dukkham and mishrama phalam. It is like this. If a person is playing in cricket, let us say, he is a batsman and he is not getting the century for the past so many games. Now in this particular match, he is having a good fortune that he could get the score of century. But then he did not win the match. He lost the match. So what will be his feeling? His feeling will be a mixed feeling. Because he could get that century, then that is a plus point. He lost the game, that is a minus point. So his feeling will be mixture of both good and bad. So after death, either he will go to Urdhvalokas or the Madhyaloka, that is the earth, or the Adholoka, based on the Anishtam, Ishtam and Mishramam. Natu Sannyasinam Kvachit. Natu Sannyasinam Kvachit means this is not for the Karma Yogi or Sattvika Sannyasi. Sannyasi means Sattvika Sannyasi or Karma Yogi. Karma Yogi is having Chitta Suddhi. Chitta Suddhi will lead him to Guru Prapti. Guru Prapti will give him Jnana Prapti. Jnana Prapti will give him Moksha Prapti. This is the cycle. This is the route. So through Guru, he will get exposed to Shastram by Sravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Thereby he gets Moksham. Therefore Karma Yogi will get Moksham Parampara Gatam. Through so many steps, a Karma Yogi can get Moksham. Not Sakshat, not directly. So because of Chitta Siddhi, he can get a Srotriya Brahmanishta Guru. Thereby he can get Jnanam. All these are in various stages he will get, and then once he crosses all these stages, he is entitled to Moksham. So that is said in a positive way. Natu Sannyasinam Kvachit. A person who is having Sattvic Tyagam, he is entitled to Moksham. This is the positive statement saying that a Karma Yogi is entitled to Moksham in future if he follows all these steps. So this condition you have to remember. Directly by Karma Yogam itself one will not get the Moksham. In this 12th sloka, we may get doubt. Arjuna questioned what is the difference between Sannyasam and Tyagam. What is the subtle difference between Sannyasam and Tyagam? Sannyasi, Tyagi and Karma Yogi, all the three are same. That's what Paramatma is confirming. Sannyasi, Tyagi and Karma Yogi, all three are same. Here, Paramatma is not giving the traditional meaning of sannyasa. He is giving an implied meaning of sannyasa, so that Arjuna will not run away from the war field. So he has to pick up the Gandiva which he has left it. So that is the motive. So with this motive, he called Karma Yoga as Sattvika Sanyasam. So this is the Sattvika Sanyasa Yogam and otherwise called Karma Yogam. So with this, we have completed the Karma Yoga. Now Paramatma is entering into Jnana Yogam. This Jnana Yogam will be explained from sloka number 13 up to 17. So those persons who are not having the readiness of the mind, they have to practice Karma Yoga. In chapter 18, that is in this very chapter, Paramatma renamed Karma Yoga as Sattvik Sanyasam. If a sadhaka follows Karma Yoga, then he gets Chitta Suddhi and thereby he is entitled to Jnana Yogyata. So this way, Karma Yoga is a pathway towards Jnana Yogam. So Karma Yoga is having the target of Jnana Yogam. Therefore, from Karma Yoga, we can go to Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga includes Upasana Yoga. We can also include Upasana Yoga in Karma Yogam. Karma Yoga is a wider sentence. Karma Yoga includes Upasana Yoga also. This is what we can take. So in the first step, Karma Yogam, the second step is Jnana Yogam. Therefore, slokas 13 to 17 talks about Jnana Yogam. So this is the ultimate and final stage of the spiritual sadhana. But here, this chapter 18 is Upasamhara chapter. Therefore, Jnana Yogam is explained in a very condensed manner. This is already explained by Paramatma in various chapters. In chapter 2, from sloka 12 up to 25, Paramatma explained Jnana Yogam. Similarly, in chapter 4, in slokas 18 to 25, he reiterated Jnana Yoga. Chapter 5 also, 13 to 31, Paramatma explained Jnana Yoga. So here we are giving only the essence of Jnana Yoga. Before we enter into the sloka proper, we will just see what is called Jnana Yogam. Jnana Yoga means to acquire Atma Jnanam. Whatever be the subject you want to learn, may it be physics, may it be chemistry. So you have to have the knowledge of that particular subject. So similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the word Jnanam refers to Atma Jnanam. So one has to know about the Atma. This is what we have to understand by learning Bhagavad Gita. The Atma Jnanam, there are various stages. The first stage is Atmanatma Vivekam. So Atmanatma Vivekam means in every person there are two aspects. One is called Atma, the other is called Anatma. One is called Chetana Amsa, other is called Achetana Amsa. So Chaitanyam and Jadam. Anatma and Atma. Atma and Anatma, the combination is nothing but Jiva. Jiva is a combination of both Atma and Anatma. Then in that mixture, we do not identify the Jada Amsa because the sentient part of human being cannot be separated from the insentient part. It is a mixture. In a human being, the sentiency and the insentiency both are mixed together so that you cannot separate both as long as a person is alive. So it is like that. If you see a bulb is shining, so the bulb external thing is there, the invisible electricity is flowing through that and which makes the bulb shine. So that invisible part, the electricity is like sentiency, is like Chaitanyam. The bulb part, which is not sentient on its own, is called Jadavastu, which is nothing but Sariram here in human being. Electricity is like Chaitanyam here. The Chaitanyam and Jadam, both are there in the human being. The Sariram is Jadavastu, and the Chaitanyam or Atma is the sentient thing. So it is a mixture of both. Mixture of both Atma and Anatma, Sariram and Chaitanyam. So this is the first thing. You should understand a human being is a mixture of both Atma and Anatma. This analysis, Atma and Anatma analysis, is called Atma Anatma Vivekam. This is what one should do it initially. Then we have got both Atma and Anatma. Out of these two, Anatma is Vidya, Atma is Satyam. My reality is Atma. So I should know what is this Atma. I should understand what is this Atma. This is the second stage. So slowly we have to divert our attention towards Atma. Though there are two components in me, Atma and Anatma, first I should know what is Atma. When I talk about Atma, Atma or Chaitanyam both are same. So I should understand Atma in 5 different properties, lakshanas. This Chaitanyam, Atma and Chaitanyam are both same. That's what I told you. So we can talk about the Chaitanya lakshanas. 5 lakshanas we already know. So same thing we again reiterate. Chaitanyam is not a part, product and property of the body. Chaitanyam is independent of the body, and it pervades the body and enlivens the body. And Chaitanyam is not limited by the body. It is beyond the body also. If the body perishes, the Chaitanyam will not perish. Chaitanyam will continue. If the body perishes, the Chaitanyam cannot be pursued because for want of medium, it is not known. That is the thing we should understand. So, the 5 different lakshanas, when we understand this Chaitanyam, that the Chaitanyam is my reality. That Atma is my reality. Anatma is not my reality. Anatma is Vidya, whereas Atma is Satyam. So, my reality is Atma, that I must know, and I have to focus on that Atma. And the next aspect is Akarta and Abhokta. So second aspect is I should divert, I should put attention towards the Atma, and the attention towards Anatma I have to slowly deassociate. No, as long as you don't go to Vedanta, you think that you are the body, you are the mind, you are the buddhi and all that. So once you are exposed to Vedanta, slowly you understand that you are not Anatma, that you are not the body, mind, sense complex, that your reality is Atma. So slowly you have to detach from this body, mind, sense complex mentally and attach yourself, glue yourself to Atma. Then you are not Karta, you are not Bhokta. This is what Vedanta tells you. In so many slokas, Paramatma mentioned this. Veda vinasinam nityam, yena majamavyayam, kadam sa purushapartha, kam ghata itihantikam. Prakrute kriyamanani, gunai karmani sarvasaha, ahankara vimudhatma, kartaha mitimanyate. Tattvavittu mahabaho, gunakarma vibhagayoho, guna guneshu vartanta, iti matvana sajjate. Naiva kinchit karomiti, yukto manyeta tattvavit, pasyan swinvan sprisam jigran, gachan, swapan, swasan. So all these slokas will tell you that you are not Karta, you are not Bhokta. Karta means you are not the doer, you are not the enjoyer. Though you perform all the things while taking breath, while doing actions, while understanding, all these are performed by an Atma, with the help of Atma. Atma is not doing anything. Atma is not doing any work, nor it is enjoying anything. Atma is not attached to any work. It is asangam. Therefore, I am a karta and a bhokta. So this is what I should understand. I don't have kartrutvam or bhoktrutvam. So with this, we have completed the analysis of Jnanam part. From 13 to 17, we will be learning about the Jnana Kanda, which we will see in the next class. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamast. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.